Okay, hi Year 9, welcome to part 2. So now for what we're actually going to learn this week, which is how to find the volume of a prism. Okay, now I need to explain to you first of all exactly what a prism is. Okay, now prism is always a three-dimensional shape. Okay, a prism is a three-dimensional shape. And it is a shape that has a constant means unchanging, constant cross section. A constant cross section. So a cuboid is a prism, is a type of prism. There's many types of prism. The cuboid would be one example. Now, why is a cuboid a prism? Because it has a constant cross section. This is, we could say that this kind of squarey looking thing is the cross section. Now imagine this was a cake that you were looking at, and I got a knife and I sliced in half. So I sliced it off there. I sliced it off there. Then the shape that you'd be looking at, that blue shape, where it would move to, would be exactly the same shape as it was before. Okay? So if you can imagine you could slice right across this three-dimensional shape, you would always get that same square every time you make a slice. Okay, so this is what makes something a prism. So before we get on to actually working out what the volume of a prism is, let's check that you understand what I meant there. Okay, so this is a bar of chocolate, Toblerone, I hope you've heard of it. Now, is this box a prism? And if you think that it is a prism, then what shape is the cross section? Okay. So hopefully you've given a little answer there. Well, yes, this is a prism. Okay, prism, yes. Shape name is a triangular prism. And the reason why is because the cross section is triangular. The cross section is triangular, okay? It wouldn't matter where you chopped. If you just chopped here, 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 you'd always get that same triangle, if you looked at it square on, okay? So this is a prism. It's called a triangular prism, and the cross section is triangular. Right, what about this? Is this a prism? Well, first of all, what shape is it? It's a pyramid. Is it a prism? No, it's not a prism, because where would you cut so that the shape you're looking at is always the same? If you imagine your prism is here, if you cut here, yet you would see a square on the top. If you cut here, you would also see a square, but you would see a bigger square, not exactly the same square. Okay, and if you cut from the sides, you get all manner of crazy shapes. So, not a prism. A pyramid is not a prism. Hopefully, it's making more sense what a prism is now. What about this one? Is it a prism? Do we know the name of the shape? And what is the name of the cross section if you think that it is a prism? Okay, yes, this is a prism. It's a trapezoidal prism, or a trapezium prism, because the cross section is a trapezium. Okay? Imagine making slices right through. You would see the same trapezium every single time. Okay, so that one definitely. What about this? Is it a prism? Yes or no? If so, what's the shape of the cross section? Okay, no, not a prism, because if you cut here, you would see this shape as you looking square on it would be a circle. if you cut here, would also be a circle, but it would be a bigger circle, not exactly the same. So this is a sphere, not a ball, it's a sphere, okay, please remember that name, and not a prism. Okay, what about this one? Is it a prism? What's the shape of the cross section, and what's the name of the shape? Well, this one's a bit debatable. Let's go with yes, it is a prism. It's not a perfect prism because of these kind of like indentations here, but let's just imagine actually what it is, what they mean is a shape that looks like this. That of course is a perfect prism. So we'll go yes, and we'll say it's a cylinder. And the shape of the cross section is circular. So a cylinder is another name for a circular prism. Okay, and as I say, obviously this one is not a perfect cylinder, so this one is technically not a prism, but we can sort of pretend that it is, if you like, model it as if it is. Okay, what about the next one? Is this a prism? Yes, it is. It's called a hexagonal prism. Hexagonal prism because the cross section is hexagonal, six-sided. Okay, so that one is. What about this one? No. Not a prism. Where would you cut so that you always get the same circle or same whatever? There's just nowhere to cut here, so not a prism. It doesn't have a cross section. Okay? Right, now, finding the volume of a prism is really, really easy. It has a formula. You might want to write this formula down. The volume of a prism is equal to the cross-sectional area times the length or the depth or the height or whatever. Okay, so all you got to do with any prism is first of all identify that it is a prism, then identify what shape the cross-section is, identify the area of that cross-section, and then just multiply that by the length, okay? So we've got some easy examples here because you're actually, we've got here, number one, a triangular prism. And it's already really telling you that the cross-section is a triangle and it's telling you the area is 9 and the length of it is 8. So the volume is 9 times 8. So 72 centimeters cubed. Okay, this one would be, number 2, would be a pentagonal prism. The cross section is pentagonal, so the volume is literally just 15 times 9, which is equal to 135 centimeters cubed. Okay, as I said, a cuboid is also a prism. Okay, and the cross-sectional area is a rectangle. And we're already told it's 80, so this is just going to be 80 times the depth, or the length, or whatever you want to call it, times 6. So that'd be 480 centimeters cubed. Okay, so have a quick go at these, stop your video, work out the volumes of each of these prisms. Okay, nice and easy. There's the answers. Okay. These ones, you're told the area of the cross-section and you're told the volume. Can you find out, well, actually, no, you're not. You're told different information for each question. Can you find out the missing information? Okay, now hopefully you realise that all you do is you use an equation here because you know that volume is equal to cross-sectional area times length. That's the formula, and it's that age-old thing. What's the formula? Put in what you know. You know that the volume is equal to 45. The cross-sectional area is 400 and... Sorry, that's wrong. Let me get rid of that. Sorry, the volume is 495. The cross-sectional area is 45. So what is the length? Let's call the length x. So all I need to do is divide both sides by 45. And so x is equal to 11. So this must be 11 centimeters long. Okay, same with this one. Volume is equal to cross-sectional area times length. Volume is 360. Cross-sectional area is what we want to know, times a length of 12. So divide both sides by 12. And I think we get an answer of 30. X is equal to 30. So we just make an equation and solve the equation. Nice and easy, I hope. You know, I've said it 100 times. What's the formula? Put in what you know, write X for where you don't know, get the equation, solve the equation to find out the value of X. You've got your answer. Okay, right, going to stop the video